My 8-year-old daughter was left in foster care by my parents while they flew to Hawaii with my sister's kids. The note said, "Sorry, sweetie, we just couldn't take care of her." I didn't shout, I just filed a quiet report. The next morning there was a violent knock on their hotel door. "My name is Hannah, I'm 28, pregnant with my second child, and until last month I thought I came from a normal family, not picture perfect, not hallmark, but normal enough. Close enough that we did holidays together, took each other to the airport, texted each other dumb memes about caffeine and adulting. My sister and I weren't best friends, but we traded birthday gifts and family gossip. My parents were grandparents. They loved their grandkids, my sister's 3 especially, but still they were always around, always showing up. I never thought I had to worry about them not being safe until the day I needed them to be. It started with a doctor's appointment. I almost rescheduled. I was in my 3rd trimester and feeling off tightness, dizzy spells, just tired all the time. My OB looked at me, then looked at the monitor, then said, "I don't like this, I want you at the hospital." Now I remember laughing, not because it was funny, because I was scared as I had work emails to send as I had groceries in the car because my husband was deployed overseas and I didn't have time for a crisis. She didn't laugh. "If we don't keep you monitored, you could go into labor early." So they wheeled me into a room and told me not to move, not to stress, not to think about anything except keeping my baby boy safe. Right, sure, no stress, except for the part where I suddenly needed emergency care for my 8-year-old daughter. Her name is Ellie. She's the kind of kid who cries when books end, who organizes her pencils by color and whispers sorry to bugs. She accidentally steps on. She's brave in quiet ways, sensitive in every way, and absolutely not someone. I was okay leaving with just anyone, but I didn't have just anyone. I had my parents. They lived 10 minutes away. They were already watching my sister's 3 kids that week. Ellie adored her cousins. She packed her little overnight bag herself, tucked her favorite stuffed cat inside, and made me a get-well-soon card with a sparkly band-aid drawn on the front. I called my mom from the hospital bed. He didn't hesitate. "Of course we'll take her, honey. You just focus on staying healthy." I cried after I hung up, relief, mostly gratitude. I trusted them before I was admitted. I swung by their house to drop Ellie off. I handed my mom my credit card. "Use this. If she needs anything, groceries, take out whatever." He waved it off. "Don't be silly, she'll be fine." For the first 2 days I believed her. Ellie called each night, told me about their pancake breakfast and how Grandpa let them watch a movie before bed. He said she missed me, that she gave my card to the baby so he'd feel better too. I promised I'd be home soon. He believed me. Then came day 3, no call, just a text from my mom, "Busy day, she's resting." Day 4, nothing. Day 5, all good, no news, rest up. No Ellie. I asked to talk to her, no answer. I sent messages, no reply. By day 6, I'd called every number in that house, my mom, my dad, my sister, left voicemails, nothing. I told myself they were just busy, that 4 kids were a lot, that she was tired, that I was overreacting. But I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling wondering if my daughter was asleep. He was scared if she was wondering why I hadn't called. Then on day 7, the doctor smiled and said the words I'd been waiting for, "You're stable, you can go home." I didn't go home. I drove straight to my parents' house. The driveway was empty, no minivan, no bikes on the lawn. The porch light was off, the windows dark. I knocked, waited, knocked again, nothing. That's when I saw it, a piece of paper taped to the front door, slightly crumpled, fainted ink faded at the edges, like it had been there a while. I said, "Sorry, sweetie, things got too hectic. We made other arrangements. She's fine." No signature, no phone number, no explanation. I stood there reading that line over and over like it might eventually turn into English. Other arrangements. I called my mom straight to voicemail, that voicemail my sister, nothing. I called again and again and again, nothing. I don't remember getting back in the car, just the sound of my heart in my ears and the word arrangements bouncing around my skull like a pinball. I drove to the nearest CPS office and walked in still wearing hospital socks. I gave them my daughter's name, my name. The woman behind the desk asked me to wait. Then she came back and asked me to come with her. That's when I knew Ellie had been dropped off 4 days earlier. No emergency contact, no signed form, no explanation, just left. She was with a foster family. Now they said she was safe. That she'd been quiet, polite, a little withdrawn. I nodded, like that was supposed to make me feel better. I think I said thank you. When I finally saw her, she ran to me, her face crumpled. She didn't ask where I'd been, she just kept saying, "I'm sorry, I was good." I tried to be good that night. She wouldn't let go of my hand, not when we got in the car, not when we got home, not even when she fell asleep, curled beside me under the blanket her dad gave her last Christmas. I sat there listening to her breathing, one hand on my belly, one on her back, and I kept thinking. I thought we were a normal family. I thought they loved her. Ellie stayed close those first few days, too close. She wouldn't let go of me, not for a second. She followed me to the bathroom, the laundry room, the front porch. She even stood outside the shower asking every minute, "Are you almost done?" She didn't talk much, just curled up beside me on the couch clutching her stuffed cat like a shield. I let her. I didn't ask questions, she wasn't ready to answer. At night she woke up crying, not loud sobs, the quiet kind, the kind that soaks into a pillow. One night I whispered, "What are you thinking about?" She said. "They said I was too much." I said, "Who did?" She didn't answer. I made us pancakes the next morning. He stared at them then whispered, "Grandma told me not to be fussy." My hands started shaking. I was trying so hard to stay calm, to keep everything gentle and steady, but I was unraveling fully quietly. I still hadn't heard a word from my parents or my sister. No check-in, no explanation, no apology, just that note on the door and a silent phone. On the third day, after I brought Ellie home, I cracked. I went digging, started with my bank app. I hadn't checked it since the hospital. I opened it, expecting maybe a grocery charge, some gas, a Target run. What I saw instead were back-to-back charges from a resort, airfare, rental car, for night stay, spa service, multiple room service bills, the boat tour, all from Hawaii. I just stared at the screen, scrolling my thumb frozen. They used my credit card, the one I gave them for Ellie, the one I handed them like an idiot, thinking they'd spend it on juice boxes and peanut butter. I told myself there had to be a mistake. Maybe someone stole it, maybe it got hacked, maybe, and that's when I opened Instagram. I don't even know what I was searching for. I clicked on my sister's profile. There was a story highlight titled Elehia, Palm Trees Cocktails. A group shot, my parents, my sister, her husband, all three of her kids, smiling and lays with the ocean behind them. Caption, family vacation before school starts. Family, not one word about Ellie. Not one clue she ever existed. They left my daughter in foster care and flew across the ocean with my sister's kids and then had the audacity to call it a family trip. I felt something snap, cold, clean, like a rope breaking. I called my mom first, no answer, then my dad, then my sister. I tried again and again. Finally my sister picked up. I didn't even wait for hello. "Where is Mom?" "Oh, she's out by the pool." "Why?" "You left Ellie in foster care and went to Hawaii." Long pause. "Then we didn't leave her in foster care. We just couldn't take care of her." "Okay, you were in the hospital. We had this trip planned. It wasn't ideal. I couldn't breathe. You abandoned her." "She's fine," she snapped. "You're blowing this out of proportion. Where is my daughter in your photos? What in your family vacation post? Where's Ellie?" "She's not my kid, Hannah." I went silent. That hurt more than I expected. He kept going, "You're being dramatic." Mom was overwhelmed. The kids were already packed. What were we supposed to do? Cancel the whole thing? "Yes," I said. "Yes, that's exactly what you were supposed to do. She's not a baby, she's 8. I hung up. My phone rang less than a minute later, my mom. I picked up. Her voice was chipper, "Honey. I was going to call you." When exactly were you planning to tell me that you left my child in the care of strangers and flew to a luxury resort using my money?" She went quiet. Then we didn't know what else to do. We were overwhelmed. "Ellie is not easy, not easy." My voice cracked. "She made you cards. She packed her own bag. She did everything right. She cried all the time. She didn't want to eat. She asked for you non-stop. I couldn't handle it. She's a child and I was in the hospital." My mom's voice turned cold. "Well, maybe don't get pregnant again if you can't handle it." I laughed, actually laughed that bitter, breathless kind that comes out when nothing else will. "I'm done." I said, "Don't be dramatic, save it. You already made your choice, Hannah." I hung up. Ellie was on the stairs. I hadn't realized she was listening. She looked at me and said, "Grandma's mad." I walked to her and knelt down. "No, Grandma's not mad, but I am, and that's okay. She looked at me for a long time. Then she asked, "Are we going to Hawaii too?" I felt my throat tighten. "No," I said, "we're doing something better." The night I filed the police report, I didn't tell anyone, not even my husband. It wasn't revenge, it was reflex. They used my credit card to fly to Hawaii while my daughter was in foster care. I didn't scream, I didn't threaten. I just opened my laptop and wrote everything down, dates, screenshots, charges, the note on the door. I submitted it online and went to bed with my daughter's hand curled around mine. On the next day, things exploded. It started with a voicemail from my sister. No greeting, just, "Are you out of your mind? You called the cops on mom and dad while they were on vacation. What the hell is wrong with you? Do you have any idea what you've done? They're humiliated." Then came the text from my mom. "The police came to our hotel room, our room, Hannah. We had to explain ourselves like criminals. I hope you're satisfied." I stared at the screen. I imagined the knock on the door, the surprise, the panic, the way they probably looked at each other, still wearing leis, holding cocktails, pretending nothing was wrong, and for once I didn't feel guilty, not even a little. That night I opened Instagram and checked my sister's profile. She had deleted the Hawaii highlights, but in their place she posted a long, blurry paragraph over a black background. Sometimes people will ruin your peace just to punish you for telling them no. Sometimes they'll call the police and weaponize your pain, but the truth always comes out. 38 likes, 2 comments. I took a screenshot and filed it in the folder. I was quietly building. They came to my door the next morning. I saw them through the window, my mom, my dad, and my sister all standing on the porch like some warped family portrait. My mom held a reusable grocery bag. My sister was already fuming. I didn't invite them in. I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. "Hannah," my mom said, "we need to talk. You had your chance. You humiliated us." I folded my arms. "You left Ellie." My sister cut in. "We didn't abandon her. We made a decision. It wasn't easy. You went to a beachfront resort," I said flatly on my dime. "You handed my daughter to strangers and then ordered room service." Dad's voice was tight. "We thought she'd be fine. She wasn't. She thought she did something wrong. She cried every night and none of you cared." My mom stepped forward. "We care, of course we care. We just. She's not easy, Hannah. You know that." I froze. "What did you say?" "She's difficult. He gets overwhelmed. He cries over everything. She wasn't adjusting. We thought it would be better for everyone." I laughed. "You thought foster care was better. She needed structure." My mom snapped. I took a step closer. "She needed love, not a punishment." The door behind me opened. Ellie stood there hugging her stuffed cat, looking straight at them. My sister smiled like she was on a stage. "Hey, sweetheart." Ellie didn't move, didn't speak. My mom softened her voice. "We brought your things, your book, your brush." Ellie said, "Why didn't you come back?" The silence that followed felt like gravity. My mom blinked. "We thought it was best." Ellie looked at me. "Can they go?" I turned to them. "You heard her. You're seriously doing this?" My sister said, "You're cutting off your entire family." "I'm protecting my daughter from what, love?" She snapped, "From people who've always been there." I stared at her. "You weren't there." I opened the door and stepped back inside. Then I shut it. That afternoon they went nuclear. A check for $1,000 showed up in my mailbox. No note, just the check memo line for Ellie with love. I wrote void across the front and taped it to the trash can lid. My mom texted me, "Pregnancy hormones make people irrational. You need to calm down." I blocked her. That night, while Ellie was asleep, my phone buzzed again, unknown number. I picked up. "Miss Porter, this is Natalie with Child Protective Services. We received an anonymous report expressing concern about your home environment." My stomach dropped. "They claim you've been emotionally unstable, isolating your daughter and retaliating against family. They described you as vindictive and erratic." Of course they did. I stayed calm, answered her questions, offered references, medical documents, even Ellie's school counselor's contact. I told the truth, every word. She said, "Thank you, I'll follow up soon." I sat in silence for a long time after that. Then I opened the folder again. It was getting thicker, more screenshots, more notes, more proof. They thought I would break, but they forgot. This time I wasn't alone. The next night I was cleaning up dinner when I heard the front door open. Ellie ran to the hallway. I followed tired, expecting a draft or the delivery guy. This said, I saw my husband. He was home. He dropped his duffel bag and caught Ellie as she jumped into his arms. Her whole body relaxed. For the first time in weeks. Mine did too. He looked at me and said, I'm not going back, we'll figure something out. And just like that I knew the three of us were going to be okay. But the people outside our door. They had no idea what was coming. For a few days it was quiet. After the CPS visit, the angry voicemails and the social media meltdowns, my parents went dark. No calls, no texts, no surprise visits. I started to think maybe they were finally done. But manipulators don't disappear. They wait, they regroup, and then they come back with a smile. It started with an envelope in the mail. No return address, just my name and my mother's handwriting. Inside was a card. Let's talk. Don't let this tear our family apart. There was a photo tucked in too. Ellie may be 4 years old, sitting on my dad's shoulders. I'd taken that picture. It was one of her favorite days before she knew what betrayal looked like. I threw the card away, kept the photo. Not for them, for her. That night my sister texted me, you've made your point. Now undo it. They're breaking. I didn't answer. The next day my parents sent a flower arrangement to Ellie's school, pink roses with a note from Grandma and Grandpa. We love you and we're sorry. Her teacher called me concerned. Should I send them back? No, I said, just throw them out. That night Ellie asked me, did Grandma bring me those? I nodded. She said, do I have to say thank you? No, baby. I said not this time. Then came the neighbors. Mrs. Kaplan, from across the street, stopped me while I was loading groceries. She gave me a tight smile and said, you know, sometimes it's good to forgive. I blinked at her. Excuse me. Your mother came by. She said you were going through something that you might not be thinking clearly. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Did she mention the part where she left my daughter in foster care? Mrs. Kaplan's smile faltered. Well, no, but she said it wasn't as bad as it sounds. Of course she did. After that the messages got more frantic. You're ruining this family. Ellie needs her grandparents. Think about how this will affect her long term. We've supported you your whole life. You always overreact. Then came the classic, you'll understand when you're older. I am older. I'm older now than I ever wanted to be. Then my mom showed up at my work. I saw her through the window of the main office, standing there with a container of banana bread like this was some kind of reunion episode. I didn't go out. I asked the receptionist to tell her I was unavailable. That was it. But that night Ellie came home with a note in her backpack. No name, no handwriting. I recognized just a sticky note tucked between her notebooks. Don't blame your mom, she doesn't mean to keep us away. Ellie handed it to me with wide eyes, is this from Grandma? I didn't lie, probably. She didn't say anything after that, just quietly went to her room and shut the door. I sat at the kitchen table for 20 minutes before my hands stopped shaking. Then I changed every pickup password at her school and called the principal. He didn't even hesitate. We'll update her file. No contact, not even a wave. The next morning I woke up to find sugar poured all over my front porch, not a little a mountain. There were ants crawling up the steps, swarming the doormat. Taped to the door was a ripped page from one of Ellie's old drawings. Just one word scribbled across it in thick red marker, liar. I didn't report it, he just cleaned it up and kept the page. My husband sat me down that night. He'd been quiet for days, letting me take the lead, letting me decide how far to push. But now he looked at me and said we need to end this. All the way I nodded. The next day we made a plan. We found a new place, small town, fresh start. We didn't tell anyone where we were going. We packed in silence while Ellie played in the living room humming to herself. The only thing I left behind was a small white envelope taped to the front door, inside a copy of the note they left when they abandoned her. I wrote 3 words underneath it. Now you understand. We left at sunrise. Ellie fell asleep in the back seat, her cat in her arms, the picture from the fridge tucked into her backpack. I didn't cry, I didn't look back, not once. But before we crossed the county line I pulled over at a gas station, opened my phone and logged into the police department's online reporting system. I uploaded the note they left, the screenshots, the bank records. I didn't add commentary, just facts. When I hit submit I felt my hands stop shaking for the first time in weeks. Fast forward, 10 months. They were charged, child endangerment and fraud. No jail time, but fines, a record and a court order. No contact with Ellie ever. We moved, quiet town, small house lemon tree in the yard. The baby came early, healthy, loud, perfect. Ellie calls him Captain Yawn. She reads to him every night. My husband works from home now. He makes breakfast, sings lullabies, leaves love notes in my coffee mug. She's okay now, really okay. Last week she taped a drawing to the fridge, the four of us standing under a big yellow sun. She titled it Our Real Family, and sometimes, when she thinks we're not listening, she looks at her little brother and whispers, "You're safe now." That's all I need. Do you think I did the right thing or did I go too far? Let me know in the comments and hit subscribe for more stories.
Good morning， 早安，妈妈们。借我你那个麦试下。你们收到了这个 Oxford Dictionary Pen 没有啊 ？E 卡姆斯就是上次 Kobe 的第一，跟这个 E 卡姆斯配合，然后开卖的这个 E 卡姆斯。就是 E 卡姆斯我自己呢也有买一套给我的孩子，然后呢我也买一套送给。